Radio was a technological marvel that allowed words and music to be transmitted over the air and over great distances. The next step was to send pictures that way, too. Most inventions begin with a vision. But one invention in particular ends with a vision as well. The television. The first televisions worked by breaking a scene into smaller pieces, much like they do today. However, they did so mechanically. German undergraduate student Paul Gottlieb Nipkow conceived of the first mechanical television in 1884. His device featured a metal disc called a spinning wheel with a series of holes punched in a wide spiral pattern around the outside. As the disc rotated, the holes moved across the scene, scanning the image. Different amounts of light passed through each of the holes in the disc. The light was then translated into electrical current and sent through a wire to a receiver, where it was converted back to an image. Mechanical television enabled the transmission of images, but its many moving parts made it impractical for commercial use. A 15-year-old farm boy named Philo Farnsworth thought of a solution to this problem. He decided to scan images electronically. According to legend, he came up with the concept of electronic television scanning in 1921 while plowing a potato field. Farnsworth realized that his plow created long, unbroken lines in the dirt, and that perhaps images could be scanned in long, unbroken lines as well. At the age of 22, Farnsworth patented his electronic image scanning tube. This was, in essence, a cathode ray tube, a device used in all televisions up until the late 20th century. Light would strike the front of the tube and leave behind an electric charge. A beam of electrons moved back and forth by electromagnets, scanned the tube from behind, and turned the image into a stream of electric current. In September 1927, Farnsworth gave the first demonstration of electronic television. Like mechanical television, Farnsworth's invention used a transmitter to turn light into electrical signals and then send those signals to a receiver where they turned back into light to form an image. Vladimir Zworykin, a Russian engineer, also developed a television transmitting and receiving system using cathode ray tubes. He called his transmitting tube an iconoscope and his receiving tube a kinescope. While Farnsworth and Zworykin developed their own versions of electronic television, Zworykin had something Farnsworth did not have: the power and money of RCA behind him. RCA was already the leader in radio broadcasting, but David Sarnoff wanted the company to be the leader in this new medium as well. After 10 years and millions of research dollars, Sarnoff was ready to unveil television at the 1939 World's Fair in New York City. Franklin Delano Roosevelt became the first president to speak on television when his opening remarks were broadcast by RCA. By 1949, millions of television sets had been sold, and black and white TV was a huge commercial success. The general public could watch broadcasts over the air via radio waves, which transmitted video and audio signals through open space. Antennas were required to transmit and receive television signals. However, mountains got in the way of some signals, and many signals did not reach rural areas. To address this problem, cable television was developed in the 1950s. It provided the audience with programming through fixed cables rather than transmitting signals via wireless radio waves. Not only did the 1950s bring about improvements in television transmission, there was also the introduction of a more lifelike picture. The first generation of color TV sets hit the market in 1954. As color televisions became household fixtures during the 1960s, AT&T, with the help from NASA, launched Telstar 1, the first commercial communications satellite. Satellite technology broadened television's audience by allowing remote places on Earth to receive television signals. The more popular television became, the more television receivers advanced. In the past 50 years, televisions have evolved from bulky floor models with small screens and grainy black and white images to sleek, high-definition models with flat-panel plasma screens. No one can be sure how television will change in the future, but one thing is certain: audiences will stay tuned. Now that you can watch television shows on the internet, do you think traditional TV will become obsolete?